Welcome everybody back to Vaabs Podcast.
Yes, boy, Vaabs Podcast.
I'm your beautiful host, Davey Delicious D, because
Humble host.
everyone has now said that's my DJ name, so I'm keeping it. It's Delicious D.
Yeah.
All over your face. Fuck.
Hold on.
Cut it out, it's fine. We're moving. To my left, I'm joined by the beautiful Captain Lebrizzle.
How's it? I'm captain of things.
And to my right, it is the beautiful Vibes controller, Dylan DJ D Dooley.
Yes, boy. And in the studio today, for us specifically, it's a very fucking special episode because it's a guest that we've wanted on since our love for the genre.
Since we were born into drum and bass.
Since we were birthed into drum and bass.
We were given.
This has been a guest that we've wanted on. Somebody who's spent over a decade mixing in the industry. Everybody knows him. If you guys even know an inkling of drum and bass, you've definitely seen his name on a lineup. Probably one of the most booked men in drum and bass. Fully. We don't know how the fuck he does it. Thrower of absolutely insane parties, including Sanctuary, Soul Vita Sundays, Tectonic, Coalescence, and many, many more. Not just to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an absolute sheller, a man that I would kill a fucking large animal just to get his playlist. It's fucking Donny Basco, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey,
man,
bro.
Super thrilled to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for being on. It's been, like Liv said, just a dream.
Yeah, 100%. Since meeting you in that dark alleyway at Sanctuary,
Hey, man.
I was like, damn, your real name's not Donny. Anyways, let's move past that.
The facades are really good.
Let's move.
Which brings us to our first question, which was essentially what you told us initially, which is, Donny Basco, how?
Yeah, so, where do we begin? So I firstly used to have a previous alias, Don Trollby. That's when I first started out.
Okay.
Yes. And I don't know if you guys know, I was like a dubstep DJ, trap DJ. That was my vibe.
That's fucking
And
sick.
I just was in love with like mafia culture. So you watch like The Godfather, you'll see like Don Corleone and all of these vibes. So I was like, cool, we're going to take Don from that, Troll as in gangster, and then Trollby as in the hats like the mafia used to wear. So that was what happened, right? That was the compilation of that. And then I used to be on Twitter, right? So on Twitter, it was a common thing where you used to have your username, but you'd always have your name and you just like adjust it. So from Don became Donny, and then Basco as in hot sauce, but also a combination of Donny Brasco, which is another mafia movie.
Yeah.
So a combination of both of those vibes essentially became Donny Basco.
That
And
was-
yeah, that's the short version, I guess.
That's so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, man.
I love the first day because I didn't know about Donny Brasco, and then the one day I was like scrolling on Netflix,
Yeah.
and then she was like, "Lebs,
What's
why is Johnny Depp Donny Brasco?"
Why is Johnny Depp a drum and bass DJ?
Yes.
Oh wait, why is Johnny Basco?
Yeah, it is a trap.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that was basically the vibe from it, and I guess it's like, I don't know, it's a different thing because like I'm very much like I know people might not agree, but I'm very much like an introverted, chilled person. But like it was almost like a persona. You get on stage and like you take a different vibe and you just give the energy, give the vibe. And it was like it's all about the hot sauce. You know, you're pouring the energy. You're creating a vibe, and that's basically
Bringing the
how-
spice.
Yeah, there we go. So that's basically how it came about.
No, David, it's sauce.
Mhm.
He's bringing the sauce.
I like spice. Spice is like,
Spice is nice.
When the spice is nice. Oh, speaking of the selections, we have to ask you. I feel like whenever I watch you play, I learn so much about DNB. Well, I made a pact to myself the first time watching you play, I'd never bring out Shazam when you play.
Okay.
But like years and years into the industry of like making or mixing beats and all of that, how do you still like when your catalog is that big? How do you choose?
It's a very tricky one because I feel like it also comes with seasons, right? So for me, I have like a short list, and I say short list, but there's probably like 400 songs in there, to be honest. But like, so you have that, and then every 3 months, so I have like my whole like record box playlist. Record box is the software we DJs use to create
not
our
an
playlists.
actual vinyl,
Exactly.
like-
But so I have this, right, and every few months, I basically am just refining it all the time. So every set, I'll basically cook up something from there. Every week, I'll be like, what's hot now? We're going to listen on Spotify. We're going to listen on SoundCloud. We're going to just suss out what's hot. And then I take like a majority, let's say 30%, maybe even 40, maybe 50 even, percent of what I know, what I love. And then we bring in some new tunes, some familiar favorites, and then some really old stuff. And then you just mix and match that together. So it's a bit of a process, but that's the vibe. I guess every set has to be different, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yes, you're gonna hear, maybe you'll rehash some songs here and there, maybe even a double or two. To be fair, some people might frown upon that, but like, yeah, but that's basically the vibe. But majority of the time, I sit every set, and every set's a new experience, right? So you gotta think like, what is the crowd gonna expect? What am I wanting to deliver? And that's the thing. So obviously, it's almost like pre-reading the room before you're even at the party, and that's basically how you do it. Well, how I do it. So yeah.
My annoyance stands like for me, like play the set and like it goes off and it's like little cheat code box. They're like, I know these songs. They've done so well. It's like maybe I'll just throw in one or two. It's like
100%.
I would throw that entire set every time. It's like, Dave, you play the same 4 songs. Like everyone loves it. Everybody loves
But you say this, and yes, it is very true, because obviously you're gonna get those pivotal moments where that happens, and you're like, oh my word, that popped off so hectically.
Yeah.
Got to try that again. And yeah, you can try that again. But every 2 parties are different, right?
Yeah.
So you might try that, and it probably will pop off again. But like I've also I sometimes play like Living Room, for example, and like I'm also known to play like some hip hop sets and whatever over time. So like there used to be this combo that I used to do, and I won't say what the combo is.
You
But
can't
I
let
always
people
do
know.
like this one specific combo of like 2 hip hop tunes, and like I almost used to do that like religiously. I play that for like 3 months, and then like towards the end, I started playing it, and like people weren't really feeling it as much, and I was like, okay, so maybe it's time to like change it up. So yes, you might find like a power combo, but yes, it'll work today, might work tomorrow, but yeah, you got to
The
switch it up at some
lifespan
point.
is
is limited.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
When we was saying,
I don't know. No, you go for it.
well, when we were speaking outside, you did mention a little bit about the,
Alter ego.
yeah,
Yes.
the
Okay.
alter ego.
Ooh, so we're gonna go there now. So yes, I am a lover of many genres, and like you can't just box yourself in one thing, right? So yes, I love my drum and bass, and yes, I love hip hop and future beats and all of these vibes. But another secret love of mine is like house music in general, and that expands to like disco and everything else.
Yeah.
So there's another alias that I have, Blake Donovan, which is my names, by the way. I'll tell you that story a bit later. But like, yeah, so it's my actual names, Blake Donovan, and I basically do that as a disco alias, tech house, whatever's funky, in between 120 to 130 BPM. Let's go. That's the vibe.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've always said like Nebs and I always talk about being a DJ duo just because it's things you fantasize. As
100%.
friends. Like you have
Why
to.
wouldn't you?
And it's
Do
like
it.
we always say we'd only play disco. And we wouldn't play sets or anything. It would purely be like posties. There's just a DJ deck in the kitchen. Everyone's like, "Can I make food?" It's like, you can't. No, we're making.
We're
beats
making
here.
beats, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Life.
I can actually, I don't even know where this is, but I see some accounts that always say it's like, almost like DJing in a toilet. At some techno vibe in Germany. I'm sure you'll know this place.
The green toilet.
Green, exactly. It's ridiculous. But it has such a following and it's such a vibe. So if you guys do the DJ duo in the kitchen, doing the things, big vibes. That
New
could be the
business
next big
plan.
thing.
Massive.
Yes.
And it always has to be at a posties.
Yeah, we're not doing
Yeah.
live interviews anymore.
Done.
Everyone's invited to the post.
Let's go. So we're doing it.
David, I have this dream of moving out and having like a place where on a Sunday you come and there's always like a braai happening.
Big
Then
vibes.
you're not invited to the braai because it's always happening.
always
So
happening.
you can always just come.
This is the
And
vibe.
then now thinking about it, it's like there's always a posties. Saturday, come through. Guess what? We're DJing.
My thing is that would like the Bri has some lifespan to it. It's got like 2 years maybe. That postie says 2 weeks max.
Yeah.
When it's like Saturday, Sunday, it's like please just go home.
go
It's
home
like
now.
come on, let's go, so please.
But it's because we don't have people who do bags, so they will want to go home.
Everyone knows that this is the time.
Yeah, when you get to a posties where bags involved.
Hey.
Oh.
Yeah, not a vibe.
So you've been in the scene for quite a while. You've
Yes. It's-
like you were telling us.
Yes, it's technically coming up to 10 years next year, let's
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
But yeah, I
And
mean,
then you started DJing from there. And then you were obviously in the scene beforehand. Kind of.
definitely, like, it was actually funny because I have a weird relationship with drum and bass, or at least how I came into it, because my brother was like a big fan, and I'm talking about when I was a kid, right? He used to be playing like Aphrodite bootlegs and all of that, and like I was like, nah, what is this music?
Yeah,
You know,
what are you
as,
doing?
as I guess most people kind of are when they young and they're still finding the sounds or whatever. But like as I said, like I was very much into like dubstep and trap, and like unfortunately we never really had much of a scene here. So like the only way to get to like a dubstep party was when it was coupled with a drum and bass party. So you'd end up going to these draws and be like, okay, this is a vibe. Yeah, cool. Let's see what they have. And then slowly but surely the bug kind of just, got
yeah.
me in there. And like, I never looked back. Once I got bit, we in it and I love it.
Then how has the scene? Something like we were speaking about, the scene has definitely changed since then. But what has been like some of the most standout points?
Yeah,
of the scene changing and like growing in that sense.
So I know pretty much every guest says this, but like we always say that COVID was the big reset, right? And I mean, before then, right, there was always these massive parties. There was always internationals coming and all of that, and like, yeah, it was great because you'd always get to see some of your favorites and stuff. But like, how it has changed since then is obviously some of the younger guys got more opportunities. Gates started being a bit more open. Like other people started throwing little parties at different events and stuff. Yeah. And like, yeah, I just think there's been such an explosion and like of new people coming in over these last 3 years. It's just been up and up and up. And like, that's the vibe. Like now we're getting to see like some of my heroes, like we spoke earlier, like Delta Heavy, Tantrum Desire coming. And it's just like, I would have never expected that like 5 years ago.
2013, you're like, what?
Like, but yeah, here we are, and we're seeing like some of the people who like made me fall in love with the genre, and it's like it's just insane. Like you get to see that, and like on the same side of the coin, like when I was coming up, like you'd see some of your heroes who are now your peers. You know, that is such a weird thing that has changed. And like I actually thought about this the other day, like. One of the like first parties I went to, I saw some like big DJs like locally, and I was like, dude, can I get a photo with you? And like that was amazing. But like it was just like probably like a couple of months ago, someone was like, dude, it's Donny Basco, can I please get a photo with you? And I was like, things are changing. Like now I'm that guy, and I'm like, I don't see myself like that. You know, I'm just a regular dude that just goes behind the decks and plays the music. But like, yeah, it's such a weird thing. You know, everything's just changing a bit. I love it. You know,
for me, one of the weirdest things is like with drum and bass, the DJ's jaw. The DJs stay at the jaw when it's finished. It's like everyone's very family, like it's family there, and it's like such a weird thing because even like when you met you, it's like, oh damn, we're meeting like Donny Basco, and then it's like, oh, you really like he like he's in the crowd, he's jawing like he's having fun, and it's like with like other scenes, like you kind of go there and it's like there it's celebrity status. 100%. It's like, oh, they're so nice to meet you. You greet them like once or twice.
100%. It's such a weird thing because I guess in other genres, yes, you know, you get your VIP status, you get your green rooms, and you get all of these things. And yes, I guess we get that to some extent. But the reality is, we are there first and foremost for the music. Yeah. When you're done with your set, you'll get a drink at the bar, maybe you'll chill outside for a bit, get a smoke, whatever you're going to do. But eventually, you're coming back to the dance floor and you're going to rave just as hard as the rest of the front row crew and everybody else. And it's just that love of the music. It's the passion. It's something very different. And yeah, it's a vibe.
VIP is literally front row at a drum and bass show.
Yeah,
that's what VIP is.
Frontline soldiers are the real VIP.
Yeah, the front row is a very special place, and it's also meant to be shared. I know there's a lot of campers nowadays.
Vibe check on sharing front row.
There's nothing like wrong with having a space, doing a thing, but if someone comes next to you and they're very friendly, polite about it, you give them the space, you do the things. The front row is a very sacred thing, and you gotta respect it.
Especially in smaller jaws, so I keep interrupting you today.
No. Never, Dave.
Yeah. I'm never gonna speak again in my life.
I love you. To your point, I feel like drum and bass shows are very friendly. Like people, when you're in the front row, they're not hectic unless they're on something, but very like oh no, like I'll make space for you, you come through. Like it's not like back in the day when we'd go to like big festivals, my mate used to always have a carry-more bag and we'd attach ourselves to the back of it and then just push through the crowd. Like people thought we were looking for someone. 100%. And then we just end up at the front like, yay, fuck it. And then everyone would be so pissed. It's like, but fuck it, I'm here now.
We out here, bro. But it's actually funny because like Glitch, dude, he's the guy that actually, he has a hack. And the hack is, if you want to get to the front row or something, you just got to pick your hands up and basically just walk. And no one will stop you. As long as your hands are up, you just walk and you'll get wherever you want to be.
I need to try.
So yeah, you got to try it at your next party.
And then when you get to the front, you just...
Yeah, there's it.
Oh, hectic.
Falsely accused.
Yeah. Speaking of parties, what brings you to a party? So if you're not playing and you're like having a chilled one, and I feel like you play so much and you're out all the time, what do you see in like a lineup or in a draw where you're like, that's where I want to be?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, hey, because obviously, like, besides being a DJ, I'm also a promoter, and there's just many different facets, right? So there's very little time that I have to actually go to a party because, like, I'm playing a lot. So Yeah, it's a different thing, but like I guess like it's not even so much about the lineup, but it's just about the vibe and everything. So if it's a new party, firstly, I'm definitely gonna go because I have to see the vibes. If it's like a friend throwing a party, which unfortunately everyone is a friend, so you basically gotta go all the time. But like yeah, it's just about the vibe. It's about like, and also it's about the marketing as well. If I can see like they're doing the things and like it's gonna be a vibe, I know that already. I'm gonna go definitely. So yeah, I guess it's not one thing specifically. It's just. I also just being in this industry for long, like I guess you kind of know what's gonna happen, like what's gonna pop off or not. I guess so. Yeah. It's a mix of everything.
Reading the party almost.
Yeah. But I just love to jaw. So if I have a free moment, I'm gonna go. Like it's actually funny because last week I had just come back from Mozambique, right, and. Like I had like a week off, let's say. Like I wasn't playing, I wasn't doing anything. So I met up with my best friend, and then I was actually told that, hey, listen, there's actually guest list for this party. You wanna go? And the 1 week where I wasn't supposed to do anything, immediately now I'm going to the door. Yeah. And it just shows like, yeah, you know, and the vibes are there. What you gonna do? You know?
What you gonna do?
Yeah,
you love
exactly.
it. Yeah. You touched on it a bit now and a bit outside as well, but like DJs being a point to go to a lineup. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, we spoke about this, and like, yeah, it's a thing because I was very adamant about that. It's really not about the DJs. It's not about the lineup. It really is about everything else. But first and foremost, it's about the crowd. It's about setting the vibe, and like that, to me is the most important thing. It really, DJs are great. They got to do their thing, but if you can create the vibe and keep the people there and keep them happy, that's what it's all about. And that's why, like, some brands, obviously, it really doesn't matter what lineup they're going to put out. If it's that type of party, they're going to go to that type of party because they know this is what we're going to get out of it. And yeah, it really doesn't matter what the DJ is on the lineup.
Fully,
which is great.
Initially, that's one of the things I think Lebs and I came to realization. I think either like last week or the week before. But it's like, it's always fun to try out those new ones, but it's like so nice to go to like a certain draw, like Sanctuary in church, where it's like I know exactly what the vibes are gonna be.
Yeah.
I know that it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be going off easy
for sure.
No stresses or anything.
And it honestly does take time. Like like I know Sanctuary, this is basically it's our 4th party now, and like but we've worked hard to really just almost curate a specific sound that we want and a specific vibe that we want. We see for us it's all about like that high energy melodic stuff, you know, that you're gonna have a rave when you get there. That's what it's all about. And like obviously different parties have different vibes, but like it takes time to create that and like to build that brand so that people know what you're about. So yeah, it's I guess that's the vibe.
That's what we wanted to ask in terms of like all the parties that you throw. Conception versus execution, how far do they differ? So like with Sanctuary, conception, execution.
It's a tricky one because obviously there's always variables, right? And you can basically say this is the type of thing that I want, all of that, but then the crowd itself can kind of dictate that. So you will obviously have to go and take notes and then go back and then change that up, whatever the case may be. So yeah, conception, yes, like putting pen to paper, creating something. I guess ideally you want to get 80% of that result, and then 20% is the variables that the crowd will bring.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It really is, I guess. But like, yeah, you just want to be as close to your vision as possible. But you have to realize that the crowd is always evolving. Everything is always evolving, and you got to move with that. So yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really cool because of the type of parties that you're throwing. Like you have like big dance style fucking party in Sanctuary, and then also Soul Vida Sundays as well. Like how did that come to be? Were you just chilling on a random Sunday listening to Liquid and you're like, everyone should be doing this?
So it's funny enough, right? I am in a weird position as a promoter where sometimes people approach me to actually do stuff. And like, I think that's a great thing because I actually was approached by Benson and Benson was like, hey, listen, I have this idea. Like I got approached, I have a venue, I have everything. So let's put our heads together and let's see if we can do something. We don't really have much of a Liquid culture anymore, but let's see if we can build something. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. I love Liquid. I mean, the funny thing is like, let's say when I was coming up, the only way to become a drum and bass DJ was to actually start playing opening sets. And the only opening sets that were allowed back then were basically Liquid, right? So you had to be very proficient in your Liquid. You had to basically enjoy it. You got to know it in and out. You got to do the things to actually get booked, right? It was basically, that was the vibe. So I had such a love and affinity for Liquid drum and bass, but you never hear it anywhere. Yes, there are some parties like, let's say Soul Link and Figure sometimes you also used to do the Liquid. So yes, but we don't have so much of that. So just to be able to do something on a weekly basis in the heart of Melville, like I jumped at that opportunity. already. And like, here we are, 25 weeks down this week. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've been doing this now for
half a year
now already. Yeah, it's
For
crazy.
me, I love it as well because with liquid you can dance to it, but as well at points you don't want to dance. You want it as not like
Yes.
background,
And
but
that's
it's
the
literally
thing.
that thing.
But this is the thing. It's like it's a Sunday chillers vibe.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It is very much a background vibe. You're letting the environment basically just handle everything. You're gonna have your child there. You're gonna have your people come with you. You're gonna do the things. But the music's always there in the background. And if you want to vibe, there's opportunity to vibe.
Yeah.
Got a bit of a dance floor there. But the reality is, we basically just setting the vibe, chills. That's it.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Sunday, bro.
Yeah.
I'm being in the scene now DJing for just less than 10 years. Do you ever feel like you stop learning, like you feel like you've hit a peak, or is it like every like new set, it's like, I don't know, I could do that, or I didn't know how to do it?
I always believe you can always learn, right?
Yeah.
And even when you feel you've plateaued on certain levels, like, you can always, the basics of DJing, you can learn, I would even say in a day, right? But there's so many different levels to it. And like, there's always different techniques. You can always mix a little cleaner. You can always find different ways to use your EQs, effects, and all of that. So there's always something you can learn, whether you 1 year in, 10 years in, 20 years in, whatever. So I really believe that. And like, for me, it's actually very funny, but like, sometimes you actually even watch someone new playing and you're like, oh my word, I've never thought to do something like that. And it's actually crazy because, like, as I always said, again, COVID was the reset, right? But here we are, 2021, 2022, we're coming in, and I see this like relatively, I want to say new because I've never seen her before, but obviously she was putting in the work years before. There's Clouds, right? And here she comes with like this crazy set. I've never seen anyone play the way she played. And she's here, brand new DJ to my eyes. And I'm just like, I was blown away. Yeah. And it's like, even getting inspiration from like new DJs, even older DJs, whatever. You can even watch a DJ from like another genre and just being like, I've never thought to mix like that. That is so crazy. And like, so that's where you can even learn, just from appreciating and getting inspired from somebody else. So yeah, shout out Clouds, by the way. Yes.
It's even wild because we were speaking to Dakota as well, and she literally said something on the same basis where it's like she wishes she didn't know like a lot of the producers and everything, because you try and produce something and then it's like I'm too in the scene to be naive about it, and it's like the naivety, it's like you kind of wish you had, because it's like, I don't mind if it's not good the first time, I'm gonna like try it, and then it's like you end up finding this greatness in between it all.
100%. And I guess that transcends to every facet, right? Because here you are, fully experienced in the scene, right? You know what works, know what doesn't work, but you also, it's not that you're brainwashed, but you have an idea already of what works and what should work and what is the way to do things. But like, here's someone like coming out of nowhere, doing like some crazy 4 to the floor type drum and bass, and they're blowing up all of a sudden. And it's just like, I never thought I could do that. But here we are. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's just like all these, stepping out of the genre for a bit, getting inspired by all these different things, and then coming back. That's the way to do it, I guess, because that forces you to just not be in a box, and you just gotta,
act like you're brand new every single set.
Exactly. Just always be teachable. Like, just, that's the way.
It's like when they bang 4x4s and drum and bass. Poof, 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 poof.
Yes. Yeah, it's weird because obviously there's different schools of thought, but that is like my favorite thing. I love it. It's so refreshing, right?
That's the thing, it unlocks.
Exactly. Because yes, it's like some people might argue it's not the purest sound, it's not that, but tell me what gets a crowd more hyped than like any one of those tunes.
Just smacking bass.
You're not expecting it.
Exactly. But see, that's the thing, the beauty of mixing is you can have an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever your set time is. You can have a very specific sound and you can just stick to that. And yes, the heads will love it and the crowd will love it. Cool. But like, if you mix and match and you mix in different ways and you bring in different elements and maybe a halftime drop here, 4x4 drop here, whatever, you're doing crazy things, like the crowd is not expecting anything and they're just having the time of their lives. And that to me is what a rave is and what a rave should be. You got to bring the energy, man. And the only way to do that is to mix things up. So that's what I feel.
All about the vibes.
All about the vibes.
Do you have any tricks that you've abandoned over the years that you're like, this worked so often, like this specific thing, and then you're like, okay, let me...
Yeah, I think the only thing I could say was just mixing slow or just mixing. Yeah, I guess I could say that because like there was a time where like I would DJ and I'd be known for like, you know, you blend songs for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, as other people do in other genres. That's great. But when it comes to drum and bass, I guess you got to kind of mix a little quicker, right? But I was always that guy that'll mix a little slow and do the things. But like one day I was like, we're gonna scrap this thing entirely. We're gonna just remodel ourselves and we're just gonna go crazy. And then ever since then, like people now know me as being that guy that's just mixing every 16 bars. We just going crazy.
Terrifying.
So like, yeah, I guess, you know, you just gotta evolve and just move as an artist, just do different things.
Yeah,
why not?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of those different things, you recently formed a back-to-back duo, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason between making it an actual like artist duo versus just always trying to like play back-to-backs together?
100%. It's such a weird thing how it came about, firstly, because so I throw a birthday party every year, right? And it gets to the point where obviously I know a lot of people and everyone is always in my DMs like, hey, this, that, whatever. But like now here's me trying to put a lineup together and like I already have 14 DJs and we're like, okay, so how is this going to happen? There's no way we're going to have to do back-to-backs.
Yeah.
So I actually, like, we're speaking about Romy, who's Orojanks, let's say.
Please,
yes. So, yeah. So she was basically, like, on the lineup, but I was like, listen, how would you feel about us doing a back-to-back? We've never done a back-to-back together, and, like, obviously, we've known each other for years. So she's like, cool, let's do it. And, like, we had a daytime set. I opened up the party, my own party for my birthday, and, like, I had such a vibe. And I was like, dude, we need to make this a little more official. And yes, over the years, like, it took time to do this, right? But every year it was a tradition. On my birthday, it's going to be Orojanks, Donny, Basco, back to back. We're going to do this. So boom. And then eventually we're like, okay, we did this like now for like 3 years. And we're like, okay, now we actually need to be serious. We're going to sit down and we're going to actually do this. So yeah, basically, yeah, we sat down, we did this and we're like, okay, cool. So now we're going to do this back to back, but it's not going to just be a back to back. Yes, for now it is, but slowly we're going to add some live elements and we're just going to do different things. So that was the realization of, it's basically the, like, you know, just more than a back-to-back. We're going to we're going to do different things. And that's, we're still in our infancy. We've only done one party, technically. So, yeah, we're going to do our next one at, wait, it hasn't been announced. Yes, at Earth Dance. So, yes. We have to make sure. Yes, so that's, we definitely, we're putting in the work for that. And, it's going to be a vibe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And how'd you guys come up with the name Star Matter?
Yeah, so it actually was all Romy, I will say. So yes, so it is actually paying homage to, there was another trio actually. There was Meschella, Format, and Toby One. And like both Romy and I were big fans of them. So they were called Matter. Unfortunately, they've disbanded as far as I know, but anything's possible. I'd love to see them back. So let's see if that happens. But yeah, so basically it's paying homage to that, but also it's like, you know, the love of the universe and just like everything is always moving, expanding, and like just, you know, we are made of star matter. Are we not? So and that's basically the vibe. So it's basically yet again a combination of different things. Boom. Yeah.
Love
That's
that
crazy.
so much.
We didn't get that at all. We were like, they're stars and they matter. All stars matter.
All stars matter.
Star matter, David. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we blown it on its head.
Oh, there you go.
And in terms of back-to-backing, what's your feel on it in drum and bass? Because we know people have like different opinions about it. Very different opinions.
So I will say I'm also in that camp, to be honest. I don't usually like to back. Like that's just the reality, is that I'm very picky. I need to know a person for a while. I need to have a certain synergy with them. We need to even go and practice beforehand just to see like what our vibes are. But I think the glory of it is because we're all mates. I mean, there's been so many times we even just chilling at afters and here's like someone with decks and then we basically just mixing live together and whatever. But like, so that's basically how some of them actually come about. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but like the thing is like I love back-to-backs, but I find that when you have that synergy with someone, it's like it's not just Donny Basco plus another person or whatever. It's basically a fusion of different styles and it becomes something even better. Or you'd hope that it becomes something better. So, yeah, I guess a really good back-to-back is just absolutely insane. Could be.
I used to be so confused with the concept of the back-to-back because I didn't like think about it. Then it only started clicking that it's like a Pacific Rim. You have to be
drift compatible.
You have to be drift compatible as well.
No doubt. And like, yes, I mean, there is those opportunities where that happens and it's just like when you connect and it's just like tune after tune is just flowing and it's just going and you're working with like someone else's tune. You're like, oh my word, something I'm gonna play is gonna like it's just gonna work there, you know. So
Yeah.
you just bring that in, you do the things, and like it's a vibe. So yeah, in those instances, it's amazing. Sometimes back-to-backs also sometimes don't work. Like yeah, but yeah, what you gonna do? You
I
know,
feel like back-to-backs, like if done wrong, it can also be detrimental. 'Cause it
Definitely.
almost like hinders both of you as well.
For
It's
sure,
like, both of
because
you very
some-
good artists.
Yeah, because especially if you don't like, if you haven't gone back to back before, if you don't know their specific style, it's very easy that they can play a song and then you can play a song, and then they can play a song and you can play a song.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you just almost playing a playlist at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're not actually mixing and blending, which is the fundamentals obviously of DJing, right? You're not actually doing that properly. And yes, the crowd will probably still love it, but like, you know, you can feel
Yeah.
when it's
When
a
you
go
guys
now.
get off the stage
Yes.
after that,
You're like,
we shouldn't see each other.
I don't think
Yeah.
I can be around
I think
you
we should
for
see other DJs.
exactly.
paid.
But I have to say, I'm really blessed in the sense that almost every back-to-back I've ever had, like I've had a synergy with them and we've had the best time. So yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Mhm.
Especially because it's such a fast genre as well. That it's
Yeah,
just
you
like
gotta mix quick. Gotta mix quick.
gotta mix
Yes,
quick.
you gotta
boss.
go. Yeah, there's no playing around. And like, it's actually funny because like one of my favorite back-to-backs of all time was earlier this year with Glitch, and like we had 4 decks between us, and we were just going. Like there was no holes barred. We were just while I'm even mixing my first track, he's already bringing another tune in, and we were just going and going and going. And like I don't even know how many tunes we ended up playing like at the end of that one, but like it was utter insanity because we were just like full tilt, and like those moments are really great. But they also it's very rare to have them, but when you have them, it's absolutely.
Is there ever that thing of like you're busy mixing and then like you look at what song is queued up, it's like, oh gosh, we're going on.
Yeah. That's the thing. So like to the point where we were mixing so quickly that because he's already choosing another song, he doesn't even know what I'm about to bring.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So it's kind of like you're just hoping for the best here. But because we had this synergy, it just worked, you know.
Just
So
absolutely
yeah,
perfect.
it was amazing. Yeah.
But I feel like that comes with being masters of your craft. Like you can't just show up
Yeah.
and be like, okay, oh wait, let's just send it.
Someone's cute lazy move, someone's cute touch, and it's like, no,
I don't think
I can't do this.
you go to the volume. You're like, let's just turn that down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mix
Yeah.
here for a while. Take it easy, boss.
Levels. Yeah, you know, sometimes I guess you get those like types of people that want to take over the back to back or like want to dominate it. But like, thankfully, I've never had that. Like, you know, we've always, just had a level playing field there. It was always good. Yeah, but I don't know, you can get that sometimes.
That's beautiful. Going back to the parties that you've hosted and thrown, let's start with the ones that you've thrown. Do you have a baby specifically that you're like, this one is my favorite? These are my children. I love my children. But this one is my baby. This one's going to make us big bucks in Hollywood.
Yeah, you
I
know,
just love this genre.
they're very much all special to me. I will say that for me, Donny, Basco and Friends is something that I love to do. And I do that like every 2 months. The first Thursday at Smoke and Kills, but then I have a big one called Birthday Blends. And so I do that for my birthday every year. So that's purely like a Donny, Basco and Friends. And I put my heart into it. So we do that every year. And that is very special to me. But I have to say, like, when it came to Sanctuary, like, I was first approached by Toby, and we were also speaking to Raina and Mary. And like, it's just, you know, it's way beyond what I ever thought anything could ever be. Because like I know what I can put into a party and to make it happen.
Yeah.
But there's also things that like other people can bring that I would have never thought of. And I guess with Sanctuary, it was basically that was the coming of 4 heads, and we just created something that I don't think any of us ever expected, like what's the turnout now, like to be. So that to me is something that I am extremely proud of. Like that to me is my baby, like obviously not just my own, but like that's my everything. That's where like all my energy, my passion, everything is driven into Sanctuary.
How
Because-
fast was like the what do you call something like making it physical? Like how? Yes, thank you. Like how fast was the amalgamation from like, hey, you want to do something and Smoking Kills, and it was like first party? Was it like?
Yeah, it actually, you know, it was weird because like I think Toby and I have been talking for a while, right? And this is Toby one. So we've been chatting for like a while, and we were like, always, let's get something together, let's make this happen. But I think it was only when we actually got Ryan and Mary on board where we were actually like, okay, this is serious, this is real. We had a couple meetings, and I think it was basically within a span of like 4 months from us actually our first chat to that, it was then it was already happening. So because we also had to have like interviews with with the venue and all of that secured, explain what we wanted to do. They had to explain what they had and the limits that we could all have with each other, whatever. And then then it just happened from there. But you say that, but the reality is also it was like there was a lot of pre-planning before that.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously there was knowledge that I had from running events, knowledge that Toby had from running events, and obviously all the other knowledge of being in the scene for like Ryan and Mary, for example, and like so it all just came together. So yes, it might have been 4 months pen to paper, let's say, or paper to reality, but like there was a lot of other things that went before.
Yeah,
that.
also experience coming through.
100%.
That's beautiful, man.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Do you think you could throw a party in 4 months?
Definitely not. I mean, you would come. you and Bill would come.
The fact that you said you've only thrown 4 is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't make any sense because then you're going on your 4th, right?
Going on the 4th, right?
Which means that the first one we attended was your 2nd. In April or May?
Yes,
so
April, yes. Mm-hmm.
And
that was a fucking party.
That went off.
That was a party, boss.
When it comes to running events, right, there's a lot of risk and a lot of like, things you have to put in, right? So obviously for our first event, we went absolutely crazy. Like obviously we went like crazy on the budget with like production and all of these things. And like we actually ended up doing so well that we actually made that back. So for our second one, we're like, okay, what can we do to top that? And basically that's why, like for us, every sanctuary, it's something that we have to do something newer, something fresher, something better if possible, and it's like, so that's basically the vibe, is that we just keep on wanting to just do better. And I always say this, it's never for us. Like when you're throwing events, yes, maybe if you're doing more commercial types of things, yes, that maybe when it's about the money and stuff, but for us, it's about the ravers and giving them the best possible experience. That's what it's about for us, essentially. So if one person can come to me at the end of the night and say, wow, that was a great party, my job's done. That's the vibe.
Love that.
That's beautiful.
I also love like the other edge of the sword, where it's like, because you throw so many parties now, it's like you almost give those new DJs a place to start as well, because I think it must have been so hard back like when everyone was first starting. So it's like there were three main parties, and it's like you're not going to get booked if you're just starting off, and it's like it's so nice that there's so many smaller ones now where it's like you can take the chance on like the new guy kind of thing, and then it's like he blows up and then he can go to another one. It's like there's so many like nucleation points at least now.
100%. And like I like to believe like I'm someone in the scene that's very like approachable. So like I'm actually friends with like a lot of new DJs, and like I'm trying to foster the culture. I'm trying to build the culture. So someone comes to me, they're like, hey, I'd like to play a party. I'll be like, okay, cool. This is what I'd need. I'd need a mix, but I'd also need you maybe to send me an EPK, for example. So they'll ask what's an EPK, and I'll be like, okay, cool. So, you see what I'm saying?
I'm looking at my bros like,
yes.
It's
like EPK. What's an EPK?
Yes.
Ooh, that's not looking good for the set.
No, so EPK is electronic press kit, right? And like I always tell, if you're serious about DJing, you gotta have certain things on lock, right? You gotta make sure you have some links in your bio for your Instagram. You gotta, you gotta have some certain things, ready to go. So I always say like, hey, if you approach me, like, yes, these are the things that I'd ideally like to see, and then like we take it from there. So yes, I want to foster that scene and make that happen. So yes, I like to believe that I always give like some newcomers a chance, and I'm very approachable. I will give anyone an opportunity if possible.
I can easily vouch for that. We've said fully that you are the nicest man in drum and bass.
Yes, 100%.
Like you are literally just like such positive energy. Like I mean, when we first met you as well, it's literally just like, there you go.
You just feel welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seeing you at a party, like when we went Benoni together, I was like, nah, I'm safe, man.
Yeah, we're okay now.
Even I was going to ask earlier about like, was the whole Star Matter kit, was that Aura's idea as well?
Wait, say what again?
The kit for Star Matter. How you got the hoodie.
Oh,
and
no.
she
So
got
actually, that actually just happened like at the same time, but like it wasn't actually an idea. I just ended up with that hoodie because a friend of mine, Cosmic Crafter, by the way, you can follow them on Instagram. They make like all different types of clothing and stuff. So I messaged Nicole, who runs that, and I'm like, listen, I would love to support you, but like I don't know if you have anything that I'd like. Can you maybe make a hoodie? So she was like, okay, cool. What did you like? So I was like, I saw you had this color shifting material. Can you maybe try that? So she's like, boom, yeah, let's go. So yeah, I got a one-of-a-kind custom vibe. She actually told me she'll never do another hoodie because it was actually so difficult. The material was like so thick. So it was very difficult to actually make. So I'm pretty much going to be the only person with that. But like, yeah, so it is basically this like color shifting glitter kind of vibe, which like looks like a style vibe.
Looks like a fucking
but like, hey, it just happened at the same time. So yeah.
because you were wearing that in Benoni, and then it was weird because I was following you around like when we were looking for the bathroom, and I was just like, feels like I'm being led around by a wizard. I'm in the middle of the East, and now look at this.
There you go. But the crazy thing is, right? So yes, I'll obviously wear that, but by the second I'm pressing play on the CDJs, dude, obviously it's gonna get so hot. I can't ever
there's
wear
no
that.
chance.
So yeah, you know,
Jeez.
that's the reality.
Yeah. It sets the vibe though.
There you go.
It's like, oh, what's he gonna do? Is he just an attendee?
Hey, what's
No.
this?
No. He's gonna shut up. He takes off the hoodie, you're like, oh, Donny. It was me the whole time. How's it?
But like, yeah, man, you know, being a DJ, like you have to also you are part of the community, right? And that's, I think that's the beauty of it, is that you have to make friends with like the people coming to the jaws. You have to see what they're about, and you have to also like welcome them in the scene. You know, when you see new faces, you got to be like, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're about. Maybe introduce them to a couple of people, and just, you know, show them this is a safe space. Like drum and bass is, you know, it's for everybody. And like, yeah, we out here, we love to rave. We family in a sense, you know. Like, yeah, when you're there for that 6 to 8 hours, like, this is home. And yeah, you got to foster that.
So like a mini like census kind of thing. You're like, oh, what are you enjoying about? It's like, I enjoy more of the liquid. It's like, well, yeah, you can go on Sundays. You can do this and this.
100%.
Oh, you live in Benoni?
Yeah,
there you go.
We've got something for you too. Yeah. Like, let's go. And that's the thing, is there's like this, because there's so many different parties and there's many different subgenres and stuff. There's always something that you can find that you like, and there'll always be something for you. Yeah.
How do you feel about the party? How do you say it? Segmentation. So would you say that we need more of like a jungle scene, or like more of a this scene, or would you say like it's cool that everything gets played at every party type vibe?
Yes and no, right? I think we need everything party. Like we need more. We need everything. Like I want there to be a party from Monday to Sunday. Like I always say that. And yes, people think I'm joking, but like the reality is there's so many ravers. There's so many opportunities for things. Like why not? Like if you feel like maybe there's jungle's not any focus, why not start something? You know, there's enough space for that to happen. And yeah, I really feel like if there's a possibility, why not? But I really love where our scene is, and I really love where what are we trying to do and where we're trying to go. But like, yes, there's always room for more. I always say that. Yeah. There's always room for more. Let's go.
Do you guys have like a round table? Like the main gents. Like let's say like, Francois, throw him in there, church boy. Fucking Rudon, throw him in there, sci-fi. Fucking Donny, Basco, everyone's man. Do you guys all just sit around and you're like, this is where we want to take it?
Like the four.
Is there a group chat? That's what I'm saying. It's like a Rushmore of drum and bass.
Okay, so I'm not aware of any round table. Let's say that. However, I will say, right, so obviously every party will come together, and obviously internally they'll discuss what they want to do, obviously. But there is a greater thing than that, where we actually do have a group where we discuss, like we have even a calendar, funny enough, where we can say, okay, cool, on these dates, these are the parties we're going to throw and whatever. And for the most part, there's never usually clashes, because obviously we know there's enough room to go around, where there's we can throw a party on a Friday, for example, we can throw a party in the third week of the month, for example, whatever the case may be. So yes, there is that overall discussion, and unfortunately, yes, it is maybe more for, I'd say, the more established brands, because sometimes there are some new guys that are coming in that actually don't have access to that. And as I say, I always like to get everyone involved. So I always like to get more people in the groups and whatever, so that there won't be clashes. Because unfortunately, yes, there will be clashes, especially now that it's going to be spring, it's going to be summer, it's going to be like everything's going to be popping off. There's going to be like 3-4 parties a week at like coming up. We know this is going to happen. So, but as long as there is some discussion, which does happen, then we can try to prevent that. And especially now that there are internationals. So the one rule, I would say is that like if there's an international coming, then no one else will throw an event on that day, because obviously not only are you going to hurt like yourself, because everyone's going to go to the international party, but like then you obviously will hurt the other brand. Like even if it's going to be 10-20 people that might go there, you want everyone to be in all the spaces that they can be. So yes, not necessarily a round table, but a group, I would say. And it is it's obviously not a lot of chatter, as I was saying. It's basically just more like, we're going to throw parties on this day. What is the vibe? That's it.
Is anyone else planning? Okay, cool.
No for sure. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, Donny, we've gotten to that all important time.
Let's go.
We know that you guys at home love it and completely understand what it is. But even if you do, Davey's still going to explain to you. Davey, tell them what a vibe check is.
And this time I have inside information from where Lebs explained it in the first episode. So now I know what it is. Because like you, I was also lost. A vibe check is essentially a topic that we give the guests, celebs, or Dill, or me. Anyone can get the topic. And you answer with the good vibes, bad vibes, mid vibes. Yeah. We love it. Vibes. We love it. And you don't have to elaborate, but we love it if you would. Vibe check.
Vibe check.
Yes,
It's
boss. First vibe check. You might be a little bit biased, but vibe check on a Tuesday, Joel.
Ooh, well. Yes, I'm biased. But yes, if it comes to drum and bass, we got Tectonic. Got to do the things. Let's go. In the heart of the East Rand.
East Rand Rollers,
Yes,
baby.
let's go.
Yeah. My mother always says to me, she's like, how is there something happening every single day? I'm like, I don't know. I'll ask them.
Yes.
So I have to ask you, how? Why a Tuesday?
So Tuesday, it's actually funny enough, right? So obviously you have to negotiate with venues and stuff, right? So this is the reality. Like some days maybe you wanted to do a Thursday instead, but the venue's like, hey, listen, we have the venue, everything, your whole plan, we can accommodate you. But unfortunately, we can't do the dates.
Yeah.
How would you feel about a Tuesday? Or how would you feel about a Monday? Or whatever the case may be. Then you kind of have to renegotiate and say, okay, cool, let's do it. So yeah, Tuesday wasn't the initial day we wanted to do, but it was the day we got. And we said we're going to make this work. And yeah, I think it's been great so far. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
No
wait.
doubt.
If
That's
you
beautiful.
build it, they will come. That's the big one. don't look at don't laugh. It's serious.
It's true, I believe you.
But, yes.
Definitely
But
come.
back to the question though. Parties on a Tuesday, big vibes. Let's
Hey,
go.
big
Yes.
vibes. Yes, boy. That's beautiful. Okay. Second vibe check of the evening is vibe check. And I wonder if this will piss people off. But vibe check on halftime.
I absolutely love it. I think, as I said, anything that brings some variation, why not? Halftime, yes, I don't know. Some people have some critiques about it, but this is something like gritty about it and grimy and like, I don't know. It has this hip hop gangster vibe to it. So I'm there for it. Let's go. Obviously, and maybe this might be hectic for me to say, but don't give me a full set of halftime. Give me like some different variation vibes. I'm there. Yeah. So don't give me a full set of anything. Let's just mix it up.
Yeah.
Just
I want to
give-
hear everything.
I want to
in
hear
one
everything.
set.
Full spectrum. Let's go.
Do you want to ask what halftime is?
Even lean forward for that.
Yeah, so I don't know. See, I'm not a very musically theory person, so for me to explain, I guess maybe I'll butcher it up. But like, halftime is just, I don't know. It's basically like slowing down the tempo and like just bringing the elements in at like half the speed. It's like I don't know. People in the comments, I don't know, say right or wrong.
Explain
But, like,
to
yeah.
the people.
So yeah, instead of like the dum ka, you're gonna get the dum ka vibe. So it's
You've experienced it. It's when everything slows down.
yeah. And I don't know. You feel like you want to vibe to it. Like you just
You feel like such a gangster when
exactly
halftime
right.
comes
So
out,
like,
man.
who hates that? Come on.
Yeah, how
Like,
can you hate
How can you
halftime?
hate that? Let's
so.
go.
Even when we were in the East as well, Boards jammed that flow down tune, and I was like, "This is fucking. He's a fucking gangster.
There's it.
He's a
Exactly.
fucking gangster." The D&B stands for bottles.
There's it. Let's go.
I also love how you're like I'm not musically like coherent, so I have to explain. It's like Lebs and I explaining it would be 10 times worse.
I was like, "It's when Dylan they slow it down.
Yeah.
They slow it down.
Half time.
Half
A
time.
set where it feels like it's the halftime.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's like 90 minutes, 45. We stop. Half time.
Everyone takes a break. Everyone gets off the stage. If you're doing a back-to-back, you swap.
Right. You take the track and then you just go super slow. Done.
Can I ask a question? So, like again, it's on the same kind of theory, right? Like you're not being musical theory, but I feel like you could do this, right? If you could explain to everyone the different genres of drum and bass, liquid, jungle, how would you explain the difference? How could you tell someone that's never heard or can't even decipher,
great
like
question.
Dylan, liquid, jungle?
For me, I guess the easiest way would be to obviously play an example and then explain the differences. Because then I can obviously have a little more of a, I don't know, melodic
An
way
example,
to go.
of giving it.
But like, like let's say for like Dance Floor, which is like my favorite, right? That basically is all about like high energy, like synths, and like it just gets the crowd moving. Whereas something like rollers, which is not a subgenre, people will say that, but that's more like, you know, you're toning it down, you're focusing more on like the drums specifically, and like that's the atmosphere you're trying to build. Whereas something like Liquid maybe will be more focused on the feeling, and like it's also it's just more mellow, it's very soulful, and like that's the different thing. So this thing, and then the Jungle came before drum and bass. So it's actually it's a very
techie.
yeah, it's a very hectic thing to say, because some people are always like, yeah, Jungle is a subgenre, but actually Jungle came before drum and bass. But Jungle is also focused on more of like the early days, like the break beats and like, you know, the ragga samples, and like it's that kind of vibe, you know. And like obviously drum and bass came after that and became a little more, let's say, polished, because now they're not using samples like all the time. They're actually creating it in like their softwares, and like so yeah, I guess. Yeah, I could talk about this all day, but like, yeah.
The UK government banned Jungle because that's where all the grey parties were. And then they said, let's clean it up, let's make it drum and bass.
He's not even lying.
Yeah.
Drum bass is capitalist.
But yeah,
jungle.
governments tend to get involved a lot, because like I think even in South Africa, like let's say 95, 96, there was like a thriving rave culture here. And like obviously this is before all of our times, but the reality is there were parties that were like 10,000 people, 20,000 people. And I'm not talking about like, obviously we got Ultra and we get these things that still happen. But like back then, I guess it was a little less regulated, and like it was possible to throw these events like in warehouses all the time. But then laws came into place where that wasn't allowed anymore. So we basically lost like parties that were getting 20,000 people to now maybe getting 800 people. Like that was like the limit, you know? So it was just crazy how when governments get involved, like things change. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because obviously like maybe certain people were dying, or I don't know, there's levels to everything, but like I guess when you regulate it, so a certain part of the soul gets lost,
a
you know?
nuance gets lost.
Yeah, or at least changes, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But also because even when we did an interview with John S. and Sheldon as well, or Sheldon, John was telling us about the parties that he used to go to in like Carfax, before it was Carfax, and it was like 20,000 people in a warehouse, and it's like, that's scary.
That is very scary. Like, exactly, because like, are there enough like fire exits to, like if anything goes on? These are the things you have to worry about.
You're
like,
struggling to find a bathroom with 500 people.
And now
there's not a bathroom.
The bathrooms where you're standing.
What's the most stressful, like on that point, like getting into an event, what is the most stressful thing that you have to deal with? Like, is fire exits come onto the fucking plan?
Only when I'm on the beats.
Just all the different variables. Like, to be honest, it's just when there's already like a big crowd, is like you just have to think about all the logistics. Like, is there enough security? Like, if anything goes down, like, can I get from point A to point B like quick enough to handle anything? So it's always just safety and security. I think those are the biggest stresses always, definitely, when it comes to bigger events.
I was gonna say, because one of the things we also love, I guess, who do like events and everything, it's like during the events, if you've ever seen them of the event that they planned, it's usually running back and forth. Something's blowing up on the DJ deck. Yeah. You seem quite calm for like they said. That sanctuary that we were at. You were chilling.
So
at least was that like? Do you plan enough that you're less stressed?
I would say yes and no, because yes, you can always plan, and yes, maybe I look calm, but in the reality is there's 500 things happening at the same time. Like, you know, like got to make sure the door person is like sorted. Have they had a bathroom break? Whatever the case may be. All these little small things you have to worry about, like with admin. Like, these are the things that are running in your head. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. I got to go back to the front. Okay, is the sound sounding okay? I got to stand in the back. Okay, does it sound okay? Okay, I got to go to the DJ. Do they have a drink? You know, all these little small things you got to worry about. So but yeah, so you got to look like you're calm, but inside, maybe that's
you play it all very well, because a lot of people we've seen, it's like.
Has anyone ever come to you at a party and been like, shit, like not knowing that you've thrown this party and been like, shit, this party's shit, eh? Like, do you think that's ever happened? Or not think, has it ever happened to you?
So thankfully, I will say that has never happened.
Because he throws great parties, Dylan.
But like, there was one time where someone actually basically came and told me, that last DJ wasn't so great, and that was me. So so that happened.
That's such a weird thing to do.
So but what are you gonna do? You know, So
pull out a notepad, like,
that has
why?
happened in the past. Yeah.
Why not?
The reality is you will never be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like, to some people, I might be playing so super commercial music. You know, to other people, maybe I'm not ravey enough. I don't know. So yes, obviously you can't cater to everyone as much as you want to. You know, you gotta, do your best, I guess. Yes.
What's your favorite part about throwing the event? Not necessarily the feeling after the fact of like, I threw a fucking good party, but while you're doing it, you're like, fuck, I love doing this.
Yeah, so it's basically towards the middle of the night when like it's starting to fill out, and like you just see like the DJ on the decks and they're doing the absolute most, and you just get to witness like the front row in the middle, and like you seeing them have almost a euphoric experience, like, and you know that it's only music that can do that.
Yeah.
And the fact that maybe you are the person that created this event, you know, you can actually stand back and be like, I'm really a part of this culture.
Yeah.
This is everything right now. You know, there's no greater feeling. Like, I guess that's that for me. You know.
So beautiful.
I love that thought process because it's like you're like a middleman connecting ravers with DJs, and it's like I'm giving you this experience. Like I'm allowing, not
He's
allowing.
double dropping. It's the DJ on this track. He's got the ravers on this track.
You're
And
all
he's
part of
mixing-
my back to
he's
back.
mixing in and out. He said volume low, volume up, volume low, volume up. That's how we were DJing. Volume up, volume up.
Essentially, that's the gist of it, to be honest.
I hate that you say it so easy because
You
it's
make
like,
it sound so easy, so hard. God damn it.
It's literally like, I always say this, but like anyone can mix two tracks together. But like we spoke about this earlier,
I can't.
there's a formula to it. Once you know, like you can beat match, you can do the things. But the trick is learning how to do that for an hour or longer, I guess. So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to be like a ghost DJ, like not a ghost writer, but like a ghost DJ. Like I'm just no one. My deck's not on. I'm just turning off. I'm just like everyone's like, this guy's killing it, and then by mistake, everything gets like ripped off, and the music's still there.
The
You know,
CDJ
you
is
say
not
this,
plugged
right?
in.
You say this, and I've seen videos of even big names, and there's like the CDJs are even practically off.
Yeah,
And
not
they
even plugged
almost
in.
like, they're just acting like they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, you get the glory and stuff from the crowd, but like, if you were able to do that for real,
10 times
Yeah.
better.
imagine
100
that
times
feeling.
better.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So yes, but I'm not going to slate anyone, because in the end of the day, if you had to do that in front of 10,000 people, the amount of pressure and stress and all of that, like, I mean, I've never experienced that, so I wouldn't even know what goes through their minds to do that. So yes, I will never condone it, obviously, because that's not DJing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
It's understandable.
for sure.
What's your what's your most stressful draw that you've done? Like in that sense where you feel like that pressure kind of thing.
Every single draw.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I would be the
Every
same as
single
well.
time. And it's weird because like even if it's a small party, you know you're going to play to 50 people. Doesn't matter. Because like it's just the nerves and the stress and everything. Like, is it going to go okay? Like, is the equipment great? Like, okay. Like, I don't know. Just all these little things that go in your head. Can you actually DJ? You know, self-doubt's a real thing. Let me be very honest. So it's just all of these little things. So it's like nervous before every jaw, very stressed before every jaw. But like the second you press play and you your first mix in, your second mix in, and you get to see like, okay, the people are feeling it. Yeah, you've done your job.
Happy
Go.
days.
Yeah, so yeah, but every single time. And I guess some people always say like that's when you can actually see that you're passionate about it, is when you're nervous, like, or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know.
It's like I just wish
It's
it would
hectic.
stop.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I guess in the end of the day, you got to leverage that. You got to leverage those nerves and like take that and just, you know, give the energy back.
Yeah,
Love that.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Mhm.
That's us every Monday when we do prep for these episodes.
There we go.
Fucking hell, we're so shit at this. We're so bad at this. How do we still have a running podcast?
Yeah,
And then
Gotcha.
someone slaps a good question. It's like
Yeah, that's the best compliment you could ever say to us. Fuck's sakes.
yeah.
It's like, oh no, those were some interesting questions
Yes.
you asking. It's like, interesting.
Yes. So
Fuck.
every single question you asked is great.
it's looking
Slav, I don't even care if
the-
it came after the fact.
that is definitely public relations of DMB. Yeah.
They said Donny first.
Yeah.
Hey,
Done.
we have a cheeky segment as well on this podcast, run by David. He's amazing at it.
Let's go.
It's
Cheeky
Dave.
little fuck, marry, kill. You know how it works.
I just wish it wasn't as vulgar. But you know,
Babs,
Have sex with.
have smash.
marry, kill. We're gonna.
Smash, marry, kill. I like that.
Smash,
that's
marry,
a
kill.
We're
PG
changing
version.
it up.
Yeah.
SMK.
SMK. Let's go.
So this is, we usually do it for genres,
Mhm.
but now we've decided to change it up, but give a bit of new life. It's now artists.
Alright, let's
And
go.
we did this, where did we did it?
Cassis.
No, but I'm saying we did this at a venue as well, and then everyone got very confused, thinking we asked them if they would actually like to have sex with the artist. But you
Hectic.
understand?
I get it.
Yeah, okay.
This is my annoyance. I don't understand how people could be like, why? I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away.
They don't like it when
They're
I'm
trying to knock
honest.
me off stage. They're trying to get me off stage.
Okay, Kanye.
Smash, marry, and kill. Subfocus, Shy FX, and Rudimental.
Oh. You hit me so deep there because these are like some of my favorite artists.
That's my
And
thing as well. I
Okay.
wouldn't be able to choose.
So first things first, I will marry Rudimental right now. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they came to South Africa and they played this event, right? And to this date, like, they had a live band, they had vocalists, they had everything. It was the most insane performance I've ever seen. Like, this is drum and bass performed live. And like, I don't know, that just changed my life. So I would marry all of them, including the whole band, plus the vocalists. It's just going to be a polygamous village right here. I'm out here. We
How
doing
many
this.
people are actually Rudimental? Because
you-
I still don't
I
know
say
the
three.
answer.
I actually think there's 4.
Fuck.
I'm actually
I-
not sure. I'm not sure though.
4
Don't
or
quote
5
me
was
on this.
mine.
But like, yeah. But like, obviously they brought out like, you know, a ton of people.
When did
And
they
that
come
was-
to SA?
Sure, I want to say 2015, 2016.
Don't lie.
I'm not sure though. Yes,
Don't lie.
It's a
No,
big
you
lie.
lie. No,
It's a big
because
lie. Yes.
because they announced that they were coming.
No, it was
Oh.
2016 that they did.
This
This
is true.
was
They
first
did
year.
announce that they were coming, and then they never came.
I
But
bought
this was-
Levs and I
yes.
tickets.
There you go.
We were so
But
excited.
This was obviously like a year or 2 years before
Yeah.
that. Yes. So that's, let's say
Okay.
2014. I'm
Oh,
going to say 2014.
before our time.
Let's just say that. Okay.
As
Cool.
long as it was
Where was it?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm
So
just
this was at
interrogating you. Yeah.
Mary Fitzgerald Square. Like, yeah, that's where it was.
That's a fake name.
Yeah,
I'm
open
so-
air. No, dude, have you guys never been there? This is legit. There's like a whole museum and like it's a vibe.
It's
So-
a museum
No, we
with
didn't obviously
museums.
perform in the museum. I mean,
Yeah,
I say we. I mean they. They obviously performed in
That's
the
how
museum.
big the
But
band
there's
was. I
like
was in it.
it's like this massive open space. It's like tiled and they have like these massive screens and like it's a big vibe. It's in the heart of like I want to say in between like Maboneng and Newtown, like somewhere there. Yeah.
I'm so
Oh.
yeah,
shocked.
it's a big vibe.
Yeah.
So marry them.
100%.
Okay. Yes, smash subfocus. Just so that I can actually get to pick this guy's brain. Like, this guy
Yeah.
is one of my all-time favorite producers. And this man was, like, shelling out music from, like, way back when to, like, now. And to have, like, that level of longevity in music, like, is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see what goes through this man's brain. I want to see what makes him tick. I want to see all that. And, yeah, if I can get that just from one experience, yeah, boom, let's go. And then kill, unfortunately, Shy FX.
Yeah,
And I know
yeah,
some
big
It must
people...
be painful.
Yeah, it is very painful. I mean, the
'Cause
man
I'm-
does the things, but like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that was just the one on the list that had to go. I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't cancel me.
No, I fully agree because for me it's like we were saying before, and it's like subfocus for me would just be an all time. I think
Mhm.
Shy FX, I wouldn't know what to do. I would probably
Yeah.
as well be so excited. I would actually just
Yes,
be in
all
a
of them are
relationship.
like things that you'd be like, fucking hell.
Mhm.
This is a life altering experience.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I would just tell people that I killed one of them and then
Yeah.
be in a relationship with all 3.
Done.
Easy.
This
out.
is the way.
Yeah. Me,
you know
Rudimental,
what's
and
fucked?
Shy.
You know what's fucked? He makes the rules. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
I get to pick the ins and
He said, Libs, no one even knows what a fucking vibe check is, my guy. Get on my level.
Get on my level.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Do you still have bucket list artists on your list that you want to see?
Plenty. Like, yeah, and it always changes because obviously there's new DJs coming out all the time, new producers, new all of this. So yeah, I guess there's definitely I've crossed off a few in the last couple of years, which is absolutely amazing. But I'll be crossing one off on the 9th of September.
Woo, that was September.
Yeah, that's gonna be a vibe.
Everyone buy your tickets
Yes, please.
to church.
Yes.
Coven's coming. We are great
the
at
things.
marketing.
Yeah, no, do the things, guys. We out here. We're gonna be front row. We're gonna be frothing. We're gonna get feral. We're gonna do all the things. So
100%.
yeah, it's gonna be vibes. But yeah, definitely. Like, there's a lot of artists that I still want to see, and like, I guess the goal is obviously if they can come to South Africa, great. But if not, we're gonna be making moves to go see them other places.
100%.
No doubt. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I also
Shag-
think we at least have. Well,
No, I'll stop now.
I'm sorry.
I'm even sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's yours.
But I feel like we're getting to a point now as well where it's like we are at the point where we can book more artists
Yes.
internationally and actually like it be not profitable, but in that sense, like it makes sense financially to be
100%.
able to book them. And, be like,
And I
oh,
think also because we are in the southern hemisphere, we actually we are so blessed because obviously when their season or their festival season or everything is coming to a close, that's when it's starting to get warmer here, right? So they don't want to be hitting like minus 10 degrees at their house. They want to come here and have a jolt, dude. Like, imagine like, dude, climbing Lion's Head as a foreigner. Dude, why not, bro? Like, let's do this. So, but yeah, these are the things. It's like we have the opportunities to bring them in months where they might not be playing like otherwise. So I guess let's do it. Yeah.
It's like you entice them with Cape Town because that's what they know. And then you're like, oh, by the way, just like a couple hours this way. Just come through.
You want to see the lions, the rhinos?
We got a lion,
We got a
rhino.
cougar, but you have to go pasture.
Yeah. And like, obviously, no disrespect to Cape Town because I love them, like obviously, but like there's many a time an artist will like after their show be like, we've never experienced anything like Joburg before, and I guess it's just the vibe, the energy that we bring is slightly different, I guess. There's obviously different vibes everywhere, but like so Joburg all the way.
Hey,
you know?
Josie, one time.
Yes, let's go.
Our esteemed vibe controller is signaling us to land the helicopter.
I do one last question as a send off.
I love that.
Perfect. Last question. For being in the scene for as long as you have, what can you say to help, like your one thing that can make the scene grow even more? Like what can people do to help the scene grow?
Don't be afraid to show more people like drum and bass. Like
Tag your buds.
tag your mates. Buy them a ticket. Just tell them, hey, come experience this, and just let them do that. Like just bring them in. Let's work together, and let's make it happen, man.
I love that.
That's so beautiful, man.
Sure.
That's a beautiful way to end off. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful Donny Basco has made this
Blessed us here
episode.
today.
Much
I've
love.
been Davey D. This has been Captain Nebrizzle,
How's it?
Oi,
Vibe
oi.
Controller, DJ D Dooley. Check us out on Spotify,
Apple Music, Amazon Music,
YouTube.
We're everywhere. We're accessible. Donny, where they can find you.
So you can find me at Donny Basco DJ. At
Love
Donny
that.
Basco DJ or all the platforms.
Give him a follow, give him a like.
Facts.
Come watch him play.
Because we
Go
follow
to
him and
everything.
we like him.
Yes. And I love you guys too. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you.
It's
Oh,
been an
man,
absolute
of course.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for
Yes.
coming through, man.
Big vibes.
Love to do it.
Mhm.
It's been an absolute major one. Guys, thank you so much. And as always, from us here at the Vaabs Podcast, keep vibing! Woo! Again, if you double drop fucking Ready to Fly and Baradan at fucking halftime, it sounds exactly like Vaabs Podcast.
If you double speed 4x4s, you get Vaabs Podcast. 8x8.
If you take liquid drum and bass, put him in there, liquid drum and bass,
You get Vaabs Podcast.
you give Vaabs Podcast.
Thank you.
Cool.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's for next time.
You done?